Good afternoon and welcome back to Russell Does Stuff. My name is Russell and I have a YouTube channel, and on Mondays I work 6 hours. Tuesdays I work 6 hours, and what I don't get done on those 2 days I'll finish up on Wednesday. So this morning I worked probably an hour and a half to finish up the things I couldn't finish up Tuesday and the things I couldn't finish up on Monday. I had somebody ask me about my equipment, my lawn equipment that I use for my lawn service and my landscape service. They asked me if I could talk about the mower I used and why I use this mower. There's a bunch of reasons why I use this lawnmower. I'm tall, and tall people don't normally ride the stand-ups, the grandstands like this, because you hit your head on stuff. I was used to sitting on a sit-down zero turn, and that's all I knew was sitting down. So when I first got one of these, I didn't know how to ride on it. Everybody laughed at me and they thought it was funny. Good entertainment seeing me try to navigate this on someone's property. When I started getting enough mailbox money in the mail, I knew how much money I had every month and what I could use and put towards buying new equipment, upgrading my mowers. And when you're out in the heat, you need a good mower that will get you in the heat and out of the heat quick. You don't want to be mowing lawns on tractors that go slow. You just bake in the sun and it's miserable. So I asked one of my employees, should I get another sit down or should I get one of these? His name's Eric, and his nickname was Little Eric because he was about this tall. Good kid. It didn't work out with him. He wanted to smoke pot and play video games all day instead of work. So we went to the mower store and he talked me into buying this. Now Eric had been employed by a bunch of other lawn services, so he had a little bit of experience on these. And I'm glad he suggested that because I like it. I like it so much. I've had, I think, 6 of these. I will continue to buy these. Now, I'm a one-man operation right now, and I don't have enough customers, and I don't need all these mowers. That one there was the one that was stolen. That's the one there that I bought a few years ago, brand new. That's still brand new. It's got 500 some hours on it. Pre-stolen hours was 400 hours. And then this was the one I bought for a backup, while that one was on the lam. So those are some of the reasons why I bought it. It's because I was talked into it. And I'm glad he suggested purchasing it. This mower goes pretty fast. I can get in and out of my lawns quickly with it. It has a good 52-inch deck on it with 3 blades. I don't have a mulching kit on this mower because I cut fancy grass and then I cut grass with tons of weeds in it, cow pasture grass and stuff. And I need to cut both types of grass. 3 types of grass, turf also, with this mower. So I found that going with no mulch kit, keeping it in the rainy and wet setting on here so it shoots as much grass out the side as possible is the best way to mow the customers I have. Now I don't have a lot of thick fertilized Augustine grass anymore. I've got a lot of lawns with weeds and cow pasture grass and stuff now. So if all you're cutting is St. Augustine grass, I would get a mulch kit on here. It makes that kind of work easier. I would mow the clumps and stuff a second time if the grass was real wet and stuff with this thing, but it was give and take. Mow, pour grass fast, and mow St. Augustine lawns maybe a couple times in some areas to get rid of the grass, but I didn't want a mulch kit on here. None of these mowers have mulch kits. It's got a large gas tank, which I like. So I fill this up when I was really busy. I'd fill this tank up twice a week. Now I fill it up. It takes me into next week or so. So I'm filling this up every other week now. Fuel injection, I prefer. This is fuel injection, that's fuel injection, and then this is carbureted. Okay, I believe Toro is getting away from Kohler engines. I don't know why. I have my thoughts, but I'm not gonna share them on camera. The Kawasaki here has a carburetor on it, which it vapor locks. When I run it for over an hour, etc., and shut it off, it doesn't want to start back up. So vapor locks. Then I have to let it sit for a few minutes and cool down, and then it'll start back up. I don't have any issues with these cranking and starting up in 125-degree heat index. Okay. One thing about this mower is I like about it is I can get on it and I can get off of it and then I can pick something up. If it gets stuck, I can lift this up like this and I can push the mower out of a wet area or a ditch I've gotten stuck in. Can't do that on a sit-down mower. Okay. This has good clearance in the back, so I can go up and down swales and ditches and do all sorts of things on this I couldn't do on a sit-down mower. On a sit-down mower, I was down about here, and I always had dirt and debris from the chute just constantly hitting me in the face, you know. And then if I was wearing shorts, the sun would just beat on my kneecaps, and I didn't like that. So you homeowners that are mowing in shorts and stuff, you don't have to worry about your legs burning up while you're on this. Another thing about your legs is it'll build your legs up a little bit. It'll give you some good low end strength from just constantly bouncing up and down like that. It'll build your legs. It'll turn them chicken legs into Arnold Schwarzenegger legs. Let me get into some of the negatives about this. These key switches on here, they go bad all the time, and that's not a Toro thing. That's just a manufacturer's thing. They don't make the key switches and stuff. I think they get some parts, you know, they outsource some stuff and then put them on here. The key switches go bad. I always carry an extra key switch or two on me because moisture gets down in them and then they won't start and then they act funny. I've never had a problem with fuses blowing, which they're real easy. The fuses are easy to get to. They're right here. I thought, wow, you know, I'm going to blow fuses because everything blows a fuse once in a while. But I've never, well, take that back. One time I had a grandstand, it blew the fuse because the PTO went bad. And that was expensive to fix. I think the part was $280 and you had to dig it out from way over there. So fuses are accessible. Somebody wants to steal this mower, all they got to do is unscrew the serial number and the sticker right here, and you know, I don't like how that's so easily seen on these. I'd like to see something hidden somewhere, a little harder to find, because if you do get your stuff stolen, you want to say, hey, this was my mower. but I thought Brandon was gonna drill out the 2 rivets and take the stickers off and go, you know, this is mine. You know, there's no model and serial number on there that says it's Russell Does Stuff's mower. I like where the muffler's at on this. It's close to the engine. It's made out of sturdy metal and stuff, and no water can get into there. I like the front of this mower. I can put mulch on here, plants, trees, and use it as a front end loader. I like the fact that this folds up. I can stick 3 mowers on there if I want to. So if I put something on the front, I can hold on to it with my hand, and then I can drive it around to the back of the house. Another thing I like about this thing is I can put a chain on here and I can pull bushes out and stuff like that with it. It's a great tool. It not only, you know, will help you cut your lawns fast, but you can use it. I call it a robot. I can use it like a robot. I can stack mulch up to here on it and drive it around to the back of the house, and now I've mulched a home in less time. This chute here I don't like. This thing here, if they could design it a little bit better, if you hit a tree or something, it always pulls it over like that, and then you got to get off and pick it up and swing it back over. The oil to change on this is real easy. I'll just drop the deck. The oil filter's right here. It does have an easy hose to drain the oil out of the motor, which I like. Same on this Kawasaki here. Same principle. Filters right there. Oil drain hose is right there, easy and accessible. These stickers on here tell you where all the grease fittings and all that stuff are. Those stickers will never wear out, but the ones that say Toro, they wear out really quick. I don't know why. I've never understood that before. The tires that they put on these, they last for a few years and they wear out pretty quick. All right. I think for riding around on grass, they wear pretty quick, and I don't like that. But you know, it's the animal you were given. The air filter and stuff's real easy to get to. Every once in a while, this, like in an April, March, when it's real dry out, make sure you check this a lot, because there's a lot of dry sand and stuff in the air, and this is real easy to pull out and tap off and even replace with a new air filter. It's right there. It's in a good spot. Even on this Kawasaki, the air filter's right there. It's in a good spot. Going under trees and branches and stuff on this thing's pretty easy. You can tuck down and you can still drive and go underneath things. The hydraulic hose on this for the reservoir, there's a reservoir right here with hydraulic oil in it. The cap is junk and it's loose, and it just pops right off in your hand. It does not thread on there very well, and I don't like that. Your hydro is important, so I try to just get it finger tight, and it's still loose. Junk. They could have put a better cap on there. The fuel caps are great, but the hydraulic oil reservoir cap is garbage. You can see your reservoir level display right there pretty well. The hydraulic reservoir hose that goes down and feeds the hydros leaks. Maybe year 2, year 3, start checking that on these, because it's a bad design. They're machine crimped, and you know, the hoses get hot, cold, they expand and stuff, and you have no ability to torque them down like you would a hose clamp. So I've replaced the hydraulic reservoir hoses on this, and then I had to do that on that. Okay, it's easy to work on these. All you got to do is take this comfort pad off with these hand screws here. You pull the gas tank out of the way, and then everything for your hydraulic stuff's right there. Your fans, your hoses, and everything. The belt on this, the hydraulic belt that drives the hydros, stretches out. You're running through water and stuff. Your hydraulic, the dry belt gets wet, hot, and it stretches out, and this will slip a little bit, and eventually you'll need a new belt. I wouldn't consider it a defect, but was probably the only solution they had to get all that to work in the space that they had that was provided. So always have an extra belt on you. I've had them break when I'm going up a hill, and it'll get all winded up in there, and now I'm dead in the water. And pushing one of these out of a backyard's no fun. Okay, so you can release the hydros, but if you're behind a house, or you're way far away in a backyard, you're on an embankment or whatever, it's hard to get this back to the trailer. When I'm moving and grooving in the summer, I always keep my backup with me, because if this gets stuck, I have that to help me pull it out. I have that to help me push this back onto the trailer. Okay, this blade selection thing it's pretty good. I'd like to see maybe a spring or something to where when I pull it back, it's not so hard. You're going to get one arm bigger than the other, because it is hard to pull up. On the sit downs, you use your foot to select the mowing height. It's got good front tires. I've only had one set of these wear out. It was on a mower I had a few years ago that I sold. And at that time, I think we were going through the pandemic. Everything was expensive. I paid a lot of money for those tires. So when I buy a new mower, I'll paint the hubs, because with all that wet grass in there, they rust out. And when you're mowing thick, wet grass, it gets stuck underneath where the tire bolts on to the front here. And then when you stop, you get a big clump of wet grass that couldn't get mulched up by the mower deck. It'll be on the ground, and then you got to hop off and pick it up, or kick it into the woods or whatever. See if I've forgotten anything. Hydro belts, key switch, and the paint on these fades. They didn't paint them real well. So when you buy it brand new, it's all shiny and pretty, and then after a few months, about a year, the paint starts to fade and the stickers go bad. Like this sticker here, I'm shocked that this sticker here still looks all right, but that one always deteriorates. Got a bee buzzing around me. I like these mowers. I've made a lot of money riding around on these mowers. They save me about an hour or more a week. They're versatile. I can do landscape projects with them. I like the fact that when things get muddy, I can get off and actually push it out. And 9 times out of 10, I don't get stuck. I won't buy another mower. I know that there's a couple other brands out there, but they're more expensive and they hurt my hands. This has good controls and a bar you put your hand on, and it doesn't beat your wrists and your hands up like those. Nothing against the right. I don't like the controls on the right mowers. So as long as I'm in this business, I will always buy these. I can work on them. The belts are easy to change. There's not a lot of snafus. I know where all the 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 link, the weak link in the chains are on these. They've never really let me down ever. They always start up. One time I had moisture in the fuel tank. I don't know how that happened, but if you get gas, if you get water in your gas, these fuel injected motors, they're not going to run. Okay, I get water in that, the carburetor, at least it'll run, but it'll run rough. It'll get me back to the trailer. I got a bee flying around me here still. So I like them. Easy to check the oil. The Kohler motor, it's not as easy to check the oil because you're unscrewing the cap towards the mower. That Kawasaki, you can check that oil and pull the dipstick out without fighting any hoses and stuff. This oil cap here is buried right here, and it's not easy to access. This good open space. Pull that out, check it. They've got, for the PTO switches on these, they've got, on the newer ones, they've got the hammer switch, okay? It's a toggle switch, goes back and forth. This one here had the pull switch. So you had to pull it up to get it on and push it down to get it to disengage. I was so used to the pull on and pull off that it took me a while to get used to the toggle switch ones. I like the toggle switch ones better now because it's just a quick brush with your finger and away you go. Sometimes you wear gloves when you're out mowing, and there is a little bit of a housing around that hammer switch to where it's hard to get your glove finger in there. But if you had gloves on, you could still pull this. So I got, it's just a matter of getting used to something. The this part here where the flywheel and stuff is, where it's sucking the air in to cool the engine, this wasn't painted very well. So the paint always falls off of this, and then it rusts, and then it looks terrible. I've repainted this one. This here seems to be holding up. I don't have a lot of picky customers that want, my lawn equipment detailed and stuff. The paint on this is peeling for a new mower. That shouldn't happen, but it is. This has got I think they both have about the same hours. This was painted good. This paint isn't peeling. That paint's peeling. The fuel filters on these are easy to get to, right behind the battery. I don't like the fact that the fuel line bounces up and down because it can chafe on some of the metal on the that's attached to the mower, like this one here. This just bounces around, and I think they could have done a better job of finding a place to fasten that fuel line down. But I wrapped some tape and some rubber material around the fuel line so that when it's vibrating and moving up and down, I won't get a leak. Because if you get a leak and it gets on this, I've got friends that have had their mowers catch on fire and burn their whole shop down. So I put new fuel lines on here. I'm going to eventually put new fuel lines on here, maybe in November, because they just sit out in the sun and it's rubber. And they don't make fuel lines that last forever and ever and ever. I think I covered about everything with these. So that's why I recommend buying ToroGrand Stands for your business. I've made a lot of money riding around on these machines. Most of it's riding around. The other half of this business is detail work, edging, weed eating, blowing off hard surfaces and stuff. The hardest part before you even can get to a stage like this is getting customers. All right. When you get your first customer and you only have one, you're going to make their yard look like the best lawn on the planet. Trust me, I did it. I was there. I didn't leave that house until it looked like a magazine cover. And you can make things look like a magazine cover with these mowers. I've never had anyone complain about the cut of their property, ever. No one's called me and said, hey, it looks like you did a bad job. Because I'm not mowing with a lawn tractor. I'm not mowing with a homeowner zero turn. I'm not push mowing my lawns. I'm mowing with something that can go up to 5+ inches with the professional cut. The deck is everything is commercial mower. It's professional cutting machine that'll get you a paycheck. I know there's some people out there that ride around on a walker. I've ridden around on walkers, grasshoppers, Dixie choppers, them orange things. I've ridden around on them all. I like this. I'm not going to do the Kubota. I'm not going to do the other one that looks like a cheetah. You know, there's a bunch of mowers out there. I won't ride around on anything but this. I'm not sponsored by these guys. I'm just sharing because I was asked why I like to ride around on these ToroGrand Stands, and I think I pretty much covered that in the video. So if you're just starting a business and you're saving up some money, you can finance these for a couple $100 a month. When I was just starting out and I fixed my credit, I financed them. I didn't finance the 2-cycle stuff or the blowers. I just financed the mower. And when you have money coming in, mailbox money, you can, I would allot 1 or 2 jobs that I knew would pay the mower, and I didn't have to worry about it because I knew that as long as I took care of those accounts, the mower was paid for. So, all right, well, sorry for this video going on too long, and I hope this helps someone out, and I hope that answers my subscriber's question. And this is Russell with Russell Does Stuff, and if you like this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. We have a goal on this channel to reach 1,000 subscribers, and hit the like button if you liked it, and we'll catch you on the next one.